Something that I want to make sure that I continue to consume, and really take on and really listen to are the kind of the opposite, I guess. So for you, like the affirmations, the like you can do this, you can charge this amount, you
Hmm.
can get this many clients, you can.
Hmm.
I feel like sometimes, honestly, it's like when you're surrounded by something, you get used to it. So sometimes it can like almost lessen in the value, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But I need to not let that happen and still like, yes, yes, I'm listening. Yes, I can do this, and I actually listen to what you're saying and really embody that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so that's something that I want to, the affirmations, the positivity from you. I want to make sure that I embody that so that it really soaks in and can start to, like I said, be the thing that helps trigger some of those negative thoughts that I have and switch them over.
All right, we're out. Talking about episode 90. Don't disrespect the TH4 podcast. We are on episode 93. We are in the bags.
We almost
Come
triple digits.
on. We almost to the triple digits. Shout out to y'all. We're gonna do some, to show our appreciation, show our thanks for the folks that have been rocking with us since episode 1. It's been a dope long journey for sure. Since 2019, we've been doing the podcast every year, getting better. Almost every other month we getting better. But Quinn, getting into it, we first got, I know I got introduced to the Daniel fast from Whitney from Eat Plants and Prosper. That's kind of who introduced it to me. But you have been on the kind of fasting wave, fasting tips since PH. So it's like 2018, right? So can you just talk very briefly about why you kind of started the idea of fasting back then and what you've kind of grown into as far as what fasting means to you now?
Yeah. Um, I am pretty sure I got introduced to it by Sean, Model Health Show. Um, the idea of intermittent fasting, which I hadn't had any experience with fasting before that time period. And I think I thought of it as starving yourself. Oh, that's what you're doing. You're starving yourself. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah, whenever I think of fasting, I think of like kind of like social justice movements and how like
Mm,
Gandhi fasted
yeah.
and other kind of social leaders would fast and not eat anything and like only drink water maybe in
Mhm.
order to kind of prove a point.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw as fasting.
Yeah, and I was more familiar with religious fasting,
Well,
and I hadn't tried it myself, but that's really the only experience I'd had with maybe friends who were doing fasting. But yeah, that's how I got introduced to it from the health side, first through another podcast, Model Health Show, and really started doing some research on the fact that there are health benefits to fasting.
yeah.
And what initially drew me to it was the weight loss aspect of, oh, it helps you like burn the excess fat that you're not able to burn if you're eating all day. And to me, that just made a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay,
Why does it do that?
because you're basically, if you think about like you eat your food, right, it especially when you eat like carbohydrates, it breaks down into glucose molecules. Those glucose molecules get released into your blood and you're able to use it for energy, but the stuff that you're not used has to be stored somewhere.
Mhm.
Our bodies are very intelligent, so they take the glucose that is not actively being used right now and they store it, and it either gets stored as glycogen or it gets stored as fat. And so, when you think about like, how can you, if you're continually eating throughout the day, all day, every day, you're never actually able to tap into the stuff that you have stored away.
Yes.
If you think about like bears, right, when they hibernate, they eat a whole bunch of food before because their bodies are going to store it. And then they go for however long they go without eating because their body's able to use the stuff that they have stored on their bodies.
Mhm.
So our bodies do something similar, but we never have that built-in time period except for when we're sleeping. We don't really have that built-in time period to where we're able to tap into the stuff that we have stored.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like being intentional about giving your body a break from eating and digesting food. Digestion is a very taxing. It's one of the most taxing things that our bodies do. So being intentional about giving your body a break from that
Mhm.
is essentially what fasting is.
Gotcha. So first off, I always love when you get into your nerd health bag, when you just start talking about glycogen and all that other stuff. I'm just like, "Ah, I see you, Queen. You know what I'm saying? You out here doing it. Do your thing. Keep using
Thanks.
those big words." Um, number two. So we kind of talked about what our perspective of fasting was prior, right? The kind of the religious fasting and the social justice or social protest fasting, to where you're virtually starving yourself for not eating a lot. What does our version of fasting look like, or the version of fasting that Whitney kind of introduced us to, or that Sean introduced
Mhm.
you to? What does that look like?
It's basically kind of like fasting from indulgent things. You think about like the Daniel fast. So not you're fasting from certain things, almost like serving as like a detox, basically.
Mhm.
So the same way, like if you think about calories or just eating things in general, fasting doesn't there's a whole slew of different ways you can fast. So the fast that we're doing right now is a fast from sugar. It's a fast from processed food. It's a fast from fried foods, a fast from alcohol, a fast from animal products, right? A lot of the things that do the body harm, or can do the body harm. You're fasting from those things so that basically everything you're putting into your body is healing. You're right. You're putting in healing foods that are going to do your body good for that set amount of time, so your body can basically detox from a lot of the uh, toxins that are
Yeah.
in the processed food, the sugars, the alcohols, all that stuff.
Nice. Thanks for the breakdown, Queen.
Mhm.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to put it inside the comments. If you are listening on Spotify specifically, we can add a nice little poll and a section there for you to engage with us on Spotify and ask questions and participate in the polls, which is kind of a cool feature that I want to test out. So if you're listening on Spotify, check that out. If you're watching live on YouTube, put in a comment. But I want to talk about, Queen, kind of the four different pillars of health that we define, and intentional things that we can either consume, right? It can be food, it can be actions, it can be just frequencies, or intentional things that we are going to not consume, right? That we're going to fast from for each of these categories.
Mhm.
I think the easiest is going to be physical health, because that's literally what we're doing right now. So maybe we can start there and then just kind of work our way through just being intentional, right? 2022, first off, there's a lot of twos in there. It's a lot of power, a lot of intentionality, a lot of foundation work to be going on there. So I just see 2022 as like a really good foundational year
Mhm.
for us specifically, but I think for everyone else out there watching as well. So the more intention you can put into this year, the more kind of negative energy you can avoid, eh, brush off a little bit. Heisman, get out of here, negative energy.
Matrix.
Oh no. Speaking of which, The Matrix was highly disappointing. Um, I don't want to get too far into a tangent here, but the Matrix movie was probably the most disappointing movie of 2021,
Yes. Yes.
because the hype was so there, and like the trilogy beforehand is great. It's fire, legendary to this day. To this day, still still one of the best, I think, trilogies. And then that fourth movie just came in and just kind of disrespected the entire trilogy, in my opinion.
A little
So
bit. A little bit.
that was
A
hurtful.
lot of it.
I'm gonna get back on track, but if you go detox from a movie, you
That's
can
the
you can
one.
get
Don't
that
bother.
that movie out your life.
Hmm.
Okay. But Queen, getting into it, physical health. Let's start there. You already kind of said the things that we are fasting from.
Mhm.
Can you talk about maybe some things that you want us, as the health captain of our household, what are some things that you want us to be intentional about consuming in 2022?
Hmm. I mean, I want to make sure that So we starting the year off strong, eating a very like vegetable, plant-based heavy diet.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that regardless of what we do for the rest of the year, we don't lose that.
Gotcha.
So I know if Whitney was on here, she'd be like, "Go vegan."
She
Uh,
would. Heavy.
which I'm still not committing to, but he's more willing than I am.
Hey, Whitney, if I had the power in our household to command the food, I would do it. But the way the head chef is set up
Until
in
your
my
birthday.
household, huh?
Until your birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday. Maybe my birthday, I'll go ahead and eat a nice steak and yeah, and potatoes, eggs, pancakes. I can do coconut syrup on there. But long story short, if it was up to me, Whitney, you know what I'm saying? We would be 90% vegan. 90%.
Anywho, I
Chef
want to.
Leo, if it was up to me, Chef Leo, you feel me? That was a good episode.
It was.
We would be 90%.
I need that hemp cheese recipe, Chef Leo.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that moving forward, whatever we do, I want to make sure that we don't lose that plants still kind of being the center and the focus of our diet.
Yeah.
That I want to make sure that we do, and we'll sprinkle in the animal products, where we want to. But yeah, I think that's something that I want us to be intentional about this year, is making sure we're getting in that good plant fuel.
Nice.
Because I think we both know that we feel good when we're eating a lot of plants.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything on my side. I think for sure things I want to stay away from is dairy, right? Even after we're off of this 21-day fast. For me, I feel my body, dairy is just not really a friend of me. It's not a friend to me. No, it's an enemy. Red meat is also something I want to kind of stay away from unless it's a special occasion. I feel like my body just really doesn't vibe too well when I eat a lot of red meat. So that's another thing that I think I want to stay away from. Things that I want to for sure consume. If you all been listening, our current drug of choice, coconut water. Coconut water is definitely something that I want to continue to consume. One, because I feel like it's good for me. It's hydrating me in a different way, but also it feels a little bad because it is a little bit sweet.
You've come far when coconut water feels.
Yeah, but when coconut water feels a little bit bad, you just might be a health nerd.
I've done good.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you for tuning in to the True Health Forever podcast. We hope you learned something valuable that you can take and implement into your life. Now, we've all heard that sharing is caring, and this podcast is no exception. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, a family member, a coworker, a stranger walking down the street, anybody who you think can level up from this message. As always, we appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you next week. Be well.